Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is just talk about the ways my dad emotionally abused me because I feel like if I get it out into the world, I'll get it out of me and maybe I can learn to move forward. So, trigger warning, there will probably be, verbal abuse and emotional abuse because that's the abuse that I live with. And there's probably going to be swearing because I'm going to repeat things he said to me, and some of it includes swearing. So, now that I've got the warnings out of the way, the earliest thing that I really remember, this is when I was really little, like between 5 and 8 years old, is that when I would do something that was bad, is that my dad would kind of corner me somewhere in the house so that I had no way to get around him. And now keep in mind, I'm a little kid at the time, and when he was his heaviest, he's 6'5", and at his heaviest, he weighed about 260 pounds. Now, picture that next to this tiny kid who's probably barely 3.5 feet tall. And he would corner me and threaten me. I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to drive you somewhere and I'm going to leave you and you'll never see me or mom ever again. I'm going to take all your toys and throw them away. I'm going to take your Wiley and I'm going to throw them away and you'll never see any of them ever again if you don't shape up. And I'm going to make sure everybody knows what a bad kid you are. That was my early childhood. And when I was a teenager, it was more of dismissing how I felt. You're not really that upset about this, are you? You're not really that mad. You're not really that sad. You're not really that excited. What are you laughing so hard at? There's nothing that funny. Stop it. Stop laughing like that. You sound stupid. What are you so mad about? There's nothing in the world to get mad about. There's nobody in the world who gets mad about the things you get mad about. And no wonder the kids at school make fun of you. And of course, the classic, what did you do to make these kids start teasing you, Cindy? Boy, that one. I feel like that's where the relationship fractured, but I didn't know it at the time. And other kids would point out, God, your dad is so mean. And, when you grow up with abuse, it seems normal. And I'm like, well, aren't all dads supposed to be mean? No. My dad's not that mean. When I'm in trouble, he takes me aside and he talks to me. He doesn't yell in my face. And didn't ring any bells because I just thought, well, I guess dads are just different. And my prom night in high school, I had a beautiful, wonderful night with the boyfriend I had at the time, Charles. He has long since moved away and grown up and gone on with his life, but we remember each other fondly. And we did it at the Springfield Mansion. So, and it's like a 3-story building, and for the last song, we were on the 3rd-story balcony outside under the stars because the music was too loud for my autistic ears inside, so we were hanging out outside there. And the song was Lady in Red by Chris de Burgh. And we danced under the stars, and I had my Disney moment of our kiss, and we kissed a couple times. And I got all fluttery and giggly and stuff like that. And then we went down because the prom was over, after the song was over. Excuse me. We went downstairs and, got out into the throng of people walking out across the street. And I don't remember if it was a McDonald's or like a gas station or what, but there was a parking lot across the street, in the crosswalk. And people were crossing and meeting up with their parents or meeting up with the limousines that brought them and whatever. And, I've got my arms wrapped around one of Charles's arms, and I'm looking up at him like, like a teenager in love, because that's what it was. It was genuinely, we were in love with each other. And, I am smiling, I'm floating on cloud nine, and my dad brought it crashing down. Okay, he looked out of the car window. Mom was in the passenger seat. And he threw his car door open. And I was looking at Charles, but I saw him get out of the car in the corner of my eye. And I thought he was just getting out to meet us. And then all of a sudden, I hear my name being screamed, Cindy! Cindy, you get over here right now. Right now. You get over here right now. Right this minute. He called my full name, which I will not say on the internet. But he called my full name. And, every kid, when you hear your full name, you are dead meat. My smile dropped and my hands fell off of Charles's arm, and I went up to my dad very meek, like, what's the matter, Dad? What's wrong? I just had a good time. What are you mad about? And he's like, you were supposed to be out here at midnight. Okay, it was like, what, 12:15? And Charles jumped to my defense. He said, Mr. H, I'm not going to say our surname, but he said, Mr. H, you never told us to be out here at midnight. And my dad was like, you shut up. And then he's just berating me with his finger in my face. You were supposed to be out here at midnight, and, you just can't listen. You just can't do anything right. I don't know why I let you do anything. You're just being so stupid. Why are you so stupid, Cindy? And he's like, get in the car. And Charles is like, Mr. H, you never gave us a time. You never told us to be out here at midnight. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, do you really think I was going to give up my last dance just to be out here? Come on, I just had my first kiss. I had my first dance. I'm crying at this point. And he's like, I don't care what kind of dance you had. You were supposed to be out here. And my mom's finally like, shut up. God, do you have to ruin her night all the time? Do you have to ruin every good thing she gets? And, they squabbled. And then we went home. And Charles spent the night at my house because he didn't want to wake his mom up going home at 1 in the morning. So, he slept in my bed. I slept in my parents' room on the bed with my mom, and my dad slept on the couch. He didn't want me and Charles in the same room, which, I get it, but we wouldn't have done that anyway. We were just so tired, we would have just gone to sleep. We would not have fooled around. But yeah, that's how my dad ruined my prom. And then graduation. So I found my parents, in the stands, because we were out on the field, and they were in the bleachers, and I spotted them. And, everybody was getting their diplomas and walking across and turning their tassel and shaking hands and getting their diploma and walking, how a graduation ceremony goes. So I got my diploma, and I shook hands, with the principal and turned my tassel. And as I'm walking, I kind of pumped my diploma up in the air because, yeah, I did it. And then I went to my seat. And after the ceremony, my mom and my sister, they were congratulating me and hugging me. And then my dad hugged me, put his arm around me, and I'm real proud of you, kid. But you looked really stupid pumping your diploma in the air like that. And I just pushed his arm off me and walked away. And, nobody told him to shut up or anything. I was kind of being told, oh, don't take it like that, Cindy. And really? My own dad just told me I look stupid. On the day that I was finally going to escape the hellhole of high school where I was bullied. And, nothing happened with him at grad night, but grad night could have ended badly, but it didn't. But I was free of that. But, God, there's another incident I just remembered. I was writing a book report, and the teacher wanted an ink, and I made a mistake, and I couldn't get the whiteout bottle open. So I went to my dad to help me by having him help me open the bottle because I couldn't get it. So I figured maybe he could because he was a big, strong guy at the time. And he's like, what do you need this for? And I'm like, I made a mistake on my paper. I need the whiteout so I can fix it because I have to write it in ink. And he's like, oh, you probably made a mistake on purpose just so you could use the whiteout. And I'm like, why would I do that? And he's like, because I know how you operate. You know, you just want to use the whiteout. That's why. And it turned into a 4-hour fight about, no, I didn't screw up on purpose just so I could use the whiteout. I made a mistake and I need to use the whiteout. And the paper ended up being crap anyway because I had to rush to finish it. It was almost illegible, and I got like a C minus on it when I probably could have gotten a B, but I just didn't care anymore because of that. You know, and I think that was my senior year, so it was right before I graduated. But anyway, yeah, I'm an old fart. That was before everything had to be printed from a computer. You know, it used to be you had to deliver it in ink. Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. But into my 20s, he would just dismiss my feelings, kind of like he did when I was a teenager. But it was a bit more insidious, you know, like, you're upset about that? You know, you're crying about that? There's nothing to cry about. And there was the statements of, there's nobody on this earth who does blah 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 the way you do. You know, like, I would gripe that I was having my period and the cramps were bothering me, and he's like, there's nobody on this earth who complains about their period as much as you do. And one time, I went off on him and literally said, fuck you, Dad. And he looked like I'd punched him in the face because I've never said that to him before. And I said it about 10 more times. You know, straight to his face. Fuck you, Dad. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And fuck you for every other day you've made me feel like shit. Fuck you. You know, I went off on him for like 10 minutes. Nothing but F-bombs. And he almost cried. Believe it or not. He was so hurt by it. I never apologized and I never will apologize. I'm not sorry for that. Now, the thing is that there was a point where I confronted him and said, the way you treated me growing up, Dad, that was emotional abuse, that was verbal abuse, and it was not okay. And he looked at me and he looked down his nose and he scrunched up his eyebrows and he said, no, it wasn't. I had to be hard on you because you didn't know how to behave. And you made it really hard to love you sometimes, but I loved you anyway because I'm your dad. But there would be nobody else who would love you like I did when you acted the way you did. So he basically told me I was hard to love, and that he did it out of the goodness of his heart. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Dad. You didn't. You never did. Someone who loves their daughter does not treat them like that. Anyway, I feel just kind of an apathy towards him now. Like, I care about his well-being for the sake of my mom, but not him. So, like, whatever happens, happens. But now this is out there. And I've said it and I've spoken these things. So maybe now they can be outside of me instead of just trapped inside. But nobody on this earth has ever or will ever hurt me the way my dad did. And I've probably hurt him back just as bad. I'm not going to pretend I'm an innocent and helpless party in this. I've been very cruel back to him before. But you don't treat your daughter that way. You don't ever treat your daughter that way. If you're a dad, don't abuse your kids, ever. Because right now I'm in therapy and I'm on antidepressants because of the damage that did. And he never really laid a hand on me. His abuse was all verbal and emotional and gaslighting. But now I'm having to undo the damage he did. So just don't do the damage in the first place, okay? Alright? See ya.